like, share, subscribe. Information I'm about to share is taking me over a year to kind of put together. Started really wide and finally narrowed it down. Uh, you either are here because you heard about it, seen it somewhere, or just stumbled upon this video. Like, share, subscribe at the end of the video if you feel you've learned anything worth learning, if it intrigued you in any way, or if, it was just a good video. Alright, I'm going to start the video now. Or officially start the video. I've always wanted to say this, so I'm going to just say it. My fellow Americans, I come to you with great news. But I may be wrong. Do your own research. It's technology age now. We got the internet. We got library. We have a bunch of different ways for you to cross-reference everything now. So don't take my word on anything that I have to say. Just take what I say, dissect it on your own, research it on your own, cross-reference it wherever you can. Description down below, I'm going to put links to where I got most, if not all of the information. I have tons of bookmarks, but I'm going to just put the important stuff. Alright, so I'm going to answer the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay, who does this video pertain to? People of the United States of America. Being, if you were born in the United States of America, if you became a national citizenship, stuff like that. If you consider yourself one of the people of the United States of America and have a legal backing, this video is for you. What's the subject? It's kind of a touchy one, I guess, but taxes, income taxes, to be specific. I already know some people are probably looking at it like, this guy's crazy, but just watch the video. I'm trying to make it as short as possible, so I might speak fast, just listen faster, or replay the video. I like it if you replay the video. But so, that's the what. Nobody ever taught me anything about taxes as a child. When I went to school, I really didn't learn about taxes either. When I first got my first job, they handed me a piece of paper, said fill this out. I asked them, how do I fill it out? What do I do? They said, you want more money when you get a tax return, or you want less money when you get a tax return? If you fill this out this way, you might end up owing too. So, that's about the gist of what taxes were explained to me. So that's the what of it. When about taxes? Time frame, basically. I found 5 years that stuck out the most to me and were the most important. I got some paperwork down there, that's why I keep looking down, just in case anybody's wondering. 1909 was the Corporate Tax Act. It was a act passed by U.S. Congress, which was deemed to be the first constitutional income tax, meaning any tax that was imposed upon anyone, business, person, whatever, before 1909 was deemed unconstitutional. In 1909, they imposed an income tax as an indirect tax that was referred to as an excess tax. I'll probably make another video explaining what an excess tax is, but I'm just hitting the key points. Try to keep this short as possible. After 1909, there was 1913. In 1913, they basically took everything from 1909, because it was the first constitutional income tax act, shifted a couple things around, adjusted a few things, and then reintroduced a federal income tax. Remember, 1909 was the first constitutional one. 1913, they just revamped it and reintroduced a federal income tax. Third year that stuck out to me with all my research was 1939. It's because of the Public Salary Tax Act of 1939. The Public Salary Tax Act of 1939 basically was U.S. Congress consenting to the taxation of compensation for public services. What this means is, if you are a federal employee, officer, political subdivision, work for an agency, if you're state officer, employee, political subdivision, work for one of the agencies, you have to pay a tax on the compensation that you receive. From what I understand, If you're a state level employee, you pay a state tax. If you're a federal level employee, you pay a federal tax. So, from what I've understood, a state level employee does not receive any benefit from the federal government, so they should not be paying a federal income tax or tax for their compensation, as they receive their paycheck from the state government. And it's vice versa. A federal employee should not be paying a state tax because they receive their compensation from the federal government. After that one was 1942. In 1942, they passed a victory tax. The victory tax was passed because of World War II. They did not have enough money to fund the World War II war effort, so they passed the victory tax, which actually was imposed upon everyone within the United States of America, like as a whole. It was a federal imposition, so it was a tax that was on a federal level, not a state level. 1944, the victory tax was repealed, which means they took it away. It no longer was in effect. If they wouldn't have done that, it would have violated U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 12, has something to do with unappropriated taxes, and direct taxes can only be implemented for 2 years without appropriation, meaning they could basically levy it on everyone uniformly for 2 years to support armies. World War II was kind of a big deal, so everybody willingly and voluntarily paid this tax. Where did this happen? The United States of America. It's kind of the subject matter of all of this. It pertains to the people of the United States of America. Happened in the United States of America. More specifically, it happened in U.S. Congress because they're the ones who passed the victory tax within the Revenue Act of 1942. It was repealed within the Income Tax Act of 1944. I may be wrong. Do your own research. Don't take my word for it. So that's the where, the why. Why do we still pay a tax on our wages, our income, our compensation? I just think nobody was notified. Somebody forgot to send a memo. Somebody forgot to inform everyone that it was repealed in 1944, and it became the norm after 2 years, so everyone just continued to do it. I may be wrong. Do your own research. This is just from how I understand everything that I've looked into, all the stuff that I've looked into in all the different avenues. How is it that we're still paying taxes on our income, compensation, salaries, whatever you want to call it? Now, mind you, if you are a state or federal level employee, the Public Salary Tax Act of 1939 is the reason why you pay a tax on your compensation. $1 million word is compensation. The U.S. Constitution states that the U.S. President and U.S. judges' compensation shall not be diminished. In the state I live in, Minnesota, the Constitution states that judges' compensation shall not be diminished. Main reason why 1939's Public Salary Tax Act stuck out to me is because they consented to the compensation of their they consented to the taxation of their compensation for personal services. The word was compensation, not tax or income. There's an argument that the 16th Amendment is the reason why federal and state level governments can tax the people. That's the how. I believe it's a misunderstanding. The 16th Amendment granted the power to lay and collect taxes on income from whatever source derived. Did not grant the power to lay and collect taxes on compensation from whatever source derived. The definition of income and the definition of compensation are worlds apart. Just from what I've looked up, the founding fathers and the people who made state constitutions chose to use the word compensation because it means compensation. It does not mean income. The definition of income is something completely different. I'll go into that in a separate video, probably the same video for excess tax. This is the long and short of it. This is a lot of information in as little time as I could do it, just so that, you could do your own research with this information. Cross check, double check, look at the links in the description, see if I'm right, see if I'm wrong. If you think that I'm right, leave a comment. If you think that I'm wrong, leave a comment. If the comment is something along the lines of how we're gonna have public roads and this, that, and the third, do your own research. I've done my research. I have an argument to that one, but that's not the purpose of this video. It's just to get the information out that I've gathered and see what other people think. See if anyone has come up with the same information, or like I said, I may be wrong, but at least I got the information out there, and now you, the people of the United States of America, can come to your own opinion. So, I've done my part. The rest is up to you. Have a good night.